Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the course of communication skills. Dear students, this course aims at your professional development because reading, writing, listening and speaking, these are the skills that will forever help you in your professional life. Whatever you do, wherever you go, you need to have a good command on these skills. So this lecture is not only for the students of English language or literature, this is aimed at all those students who are studying various disciplines and preparing for various examinations, for example, PMS, CSS. So these skills can help you everywhere. So today in the series of the same lectures, we are discussing essay writing. So essay writing is a technical skill and that demands your concentration, your ability to write better, and your ability to summarize things in order to bring them under subheadings or the topic sentences. This lecture is divided into two main parts. So the first part is a theoretical that will give you theoretical knowledge of essay writing, which will also tell you that what are the kinds of essay and how to write a good essay. And the second part till the end, that is about practical tips for writing essays with examples. So I would strongly recommend you not to miss out that part because that is going to tell you how we can add topic sentence and how do we connect one paragraph with another, one sentence with another. So do watch the video till the end so that you can better understand essay writing. Once you do it, writing any essay till CSS level will not be a difficult job for you. So this video is for all those people who are preparing for any competitive exam or for any academic exam. This essay writing will help you or give you lifelong experience of writing essays. Essay writing is not as simple as it seems. It is definitely not about writing your ideas randomly. It is not about writing without any structure or arrangement, or comprising many opinions at the same time which confuse the readers, or making headings within one essay. So these are the mistakes that we commit while writing an essay. I've been teaching here since 2007 and I've been watching the essays written by the students. So the biggest mistake done by the student is that a student writes so many ideas in the same structure and those ideas do not have coherence among them, and those are random ideas which are having no planning before them. So we should avoid all these things which can make our essay a confused whole. So we should try to go for the better tips that I am sharing through this video with you people. So what is an essay? An essay is generally a piece of writing that gives the author's own argument. Essays have traditionally been subclassified as formal and informal. Most of the times we're writing formal essays because we're writing them for the sake of examination, and if you're writing them for the pleasure purpose, then they can be informal ones. An essay is a short formal piece of writing dealing with a single subject. It is typically written to try to persuade the reader using selected research evidence. So in this, not only we are addressing one topic, one subject, but also we are giving some research-based evidence to persuade the reader. So we are writing in order to make a person believe that whatever we are saying is accurate, and for that we should be focused on the single subject, and also we should be giving statistics or some research evidence that will like we can share data, we can share statistics, we can share quotations in order to make our essay an authentic material. There are certain types of an essay, and these are the major types. There can be further types as well. We have descriptive essays, narrative essays, expository essays, or persuasive essays. Sometimes we are writing the description of something that comes in descriptive. Sometimes we are almost telling a tale, so that comes in narrative. Sometimes we are exposing something, we are talking about something and explaining it, that comes in expository. And sometimes we are persuading a reader about something that we feel how it is, so that is in persuasive essays. Descriptive essay is said to be a cousin of narrative essay. A descriptive essay paints a picture with words. A writer might describe a person, place, object, or even memory of a special significance. However, this type of essay is not description for the description's sake. The descriptive essays try to communicate a deeper meaning through the description. In a descriptive essay, the writer should show, not tell, through the use of colorful words and sensory details. The best descriptive essays appeal to the reader's emotions with a result that is highly evocative. For example, if a person is describing about a pizza, so he may say that it is the pizza was delicious and hot, and the other person may say that it was hot, steaming, fresh, and latest or recently baked pizza. So that gives us a better opportunity of understanding the picture of that very object. So we use descriptive words in it, and those descriptive words allow us to show something, not to tell rather. So the descriptive essay contains such words or use of such descriptive items, which makes the essay forcible, or it makes it it brings some forceful element that is there to convince the reader. In a narrative essay, the writer tells a story about a real-life experience. While telling a story may sound easy to do, the narrative essay challenges students to think and write about themselves. When writing a narrative essay, writers should try to involve the reader by making the story as vivid as possible. The fact that narrative essays are usually written in the first person helps engage the reader. For example, I. So sentences give readers a feeling of being a part of the story when you're using the word I for that sake or we for that sake. A well-crafted narrative essay will also build towards drawing a conclusion or making a personal statement. So a narrative essay includes the reader within the essay when the first person pronoun is used, and the writer should be making it so clear, so vivid, or so transparent as possible, because it is only for this reason that he is able to engage the reader or get the attention of the reader for the essay. The expository essay is an informative piece of writing that presents a balanced analysis of a topic. In an expository essay, the writer explains or defines a topic using facts, statistics, and examples. Expository writing encompasses a wide range of essay variations such as the comparison and contrast essay, the cause and effect essay, and the how to or process essay, like how to make sugar. Because expository essays are based on facts and not on personal feelings, like in narrative or descriptive essay. Writers don't reveal their emotions or write in the first person pronoun, so these essays are highly objective, whereas we can say that descriptive or narrative essays are sometimes subjective. Last but not the least, since I mentioned that there could be so many other examples, but these are the major types. Persuasive essays. While like an expository essay in its presentation of facts, the global goal of the persuasive essay is to convince the reader to accept the writer's point of view or recommendation. The writer must build a cause in a case using facts and logic, as well as examples, and by using expert opinions, and that should sound reasonable. The writer should present all sides of the argument, but must be able to communicate clearly and without equivocation why a certain position is correct. So, talking about some latest model of scientific invention, we are giving our own experiences with that, and those help other people understand how the things work, how the thing works. Moreover, this tells us that how to present our logic behind liking or favoring certain thing, and if our words are convincing enough, so the reader is convinced and he is persuaded by the writings that we have submitted. So when you are writing something, then you need to follow certain steps. Especially if the writing is formal, then these steps are mandatory for a writer to take care of. For example, brainstorming, outlining, drafting, revising, and editing. So, whenever we are writing any formal documentation, we need to follow these 5 steps. So, these are the steps of writing process. If we are following these writing process steps, we are able to come up with very good written material. And in case of essay writing, we should be following these things if we want to create a good impression of our writing skills. So brainstorming is very important, outlining is the soul of the essay, drafting is required, that is your skill, revising brings certain mistakes, and editing is to take care of all the relevant things which need to be edited. So these steps should be taken care of. Remember, whenever you are sitting in examination and you need to display your writing structure, then you should stop thinking about the exam time. You should concentrate completely on the topic you are to write about. This thing is called brainstorming, in which you think. You gather, you generate your ideas, and you gather them about a topic. When you brainstorm, write down every idea that comes to you. So this is basically your rough work. This is not your attempting of the question. This has to be done in some rough place of your paper somewhere. So you need to write down every idea, every single thought that comes to you about the topic that you are to write about. Gather as many ideas as you can. Like, this is our planning. If we are planning good, we are getting good results. If you're not planning well, we're not likely to get better results in the end. So in this way, we need to think one thing. Remember, whenever you are writing something, you're writing an application, you're writing an essay, you're writing a paragraph, you should be taking care of one thing, that every other person is writing the same thing. There's so many students right now who are working on the same question. Now, what is the thing that makes you different? So that thing will be identified by you in your brainstorming process. So during your brainstorming, you need to gather all the ideas that come to you about the topic, and then after you have written them, then you need to choose the better ideas. Those ideas which you think are unique and which make you different from rest of the people. Remember, if 100 people appear in a CSS paper, then there must be very selected people who pass the examination. The ratio out of 100 is only 5%. So it is up to you to come in 95% or in 5%. So your brainstorming will determine this thing, that whether you're going to make it or whether you're going to lose it. Now there are certain types of brainstorming that you can do. You can make a list of the topics that come to your mind. You can freely write them anywhere, or you can start mapping them. Like, you can make it in a shape of a tree, you can make in a shape of a circle, you can make in the shape of boxes which are connected, and you're making a chronological sequence of them. So it is up to you to choose any type of brainstorming. Main thing is that you need to brainstorm. Now, the guidelines that I'm going to give you in this slide are quite essential for you if you're appearing in any examination where you need to where you're facing paragraph writing. So first of all, think about the topic. Write down any idea that comes to your mind. If you feel some ideas are bad, cross them. If you feel that you need to add details to some ideas, do add them. And the best way to brainstorm is just close your eyes, concentrate on the topic, and think that this is at high time for you to write something in the best possible words, and feel this thing that if today you are able to give the best of your writing skills, or you are able to display your best writing structure, that will get you very good score, or that will get you a very good job. So just keep these points in your mind and then start thinking about the ideas. You will feel motivated. Like, no, there's so many people who try to appear in certain exams, but they do not reach that place where they are practically sitting and they are taking their examination. So you are the selected ones. So think and feel motivated. Now you must be knowing that we do not give headings in any essay. So first of all, we should gather the ideas in a sequence. If we are making outlines, so outlines are the replacement of the headings. Then we should write them in proper and creative order. So that creativity will be talked about almost in the end of essay when we are talking about coherence. So we should write them in proper order, and then we should think about the content and the size and the words of each outline. So we should be knowing that how much of material do we have about certain paragraphs of an essay with us. So we should divide the essay into certain paragraphs and outlines, and then we should think about the size of essay, and that is to be done within our mind. And then we should choose which ideas to talk about first, which to talk about next, and which to talk about last. If we are able to create a very good and impressive outline, you should consider that half of your essay is already written, because this is your brainstorming, this is your planning. If you are having good base of something, the structure will also be very good. But if your base is weak, your magnificence of structure will never matter. So we should properly outline the essay, and then we should go for it. And if you're preparing for some competitive examination, not only writing your essay is important, but also creating a creative and properly sequenced outline matters the most. People who are preparing for CSS exam, they're paying more attention towards the outlining of something more than writing the essay itself. Because if you are having good outline, it means you are having the best essay. Now here I have an example. So if we are having an essay, Pakistan and terrorism, so first of all what we will do is we'll create an outline. So the outline can be like this. First of all, introduction, the meaning and evolution of terrorism. Now this means that my first paragraph will deal with the introduction, meaning and evolution of the term terrorism. Then my second paragraph will be about Pakistan and terrorism. So how terrorism has jolted our country. So that such things will be discussed in this outline. And then types of terrorism in Pakistan, and then bad effects that it produces on society, then the ways to curb terrorism, and then the conclusion. It means that my complete essay will be divided into 6 paragraphs, and those 6 paragraphs will be talking about these 6 main themes which I have discussed in the outline. So structuring a good outline which is in proper sequence helps us writing a good essay. So by the end of this lecture, I'll be telling you how I am using each paragraph or each heading, which will be in shape of topic sentence, and how I am connecting them. That is a science. We can learn that if we pay some attention to it. Remember, you will never get this thing in any other video lecture available on YouTube. So this is requiring your complete attention and your concentration. Our next stage is drafting. Write the ideas from your outline into complete sentences and a paragraph. Don't worry about making it perfect because you may need to revise your draft so many times. So don't be afraid of revisions. First of all, write whatever comes to your mind and complete the first draft of your paragraph. In case we are using computer for the sake of writing essays, then we should follow these things. The margin of the essay from all sides should be 1 inch. The spacing is quite necessary in a good essay composition. Every good essay should be double spaced. So a double space is a good distance of space between 2 lines. Each paragraph should begin with an indentation. So indentation comes from the tab button on your keyboards or on your laptops, and then underlining the important things. So this is about both if you're writing it with a pen or using computer for the sake of writing. Whatever you feel important, you should underline it, because sometimes the examiner may be in some hurry, or he just whenever he looks at some underlined things, he automatically goes or his eyes visit that particular area, and that thing can impress upon him. So all those details which you feel the best of your essay should be underlined. So once you have done writing, then it comes the time of revising it. So when you are reading your essay again, change and improve the content of your writing if you're not satisfied. Think about what you can change in your essay in order to make it better. You might find some words that need to be revisited. You may find certain sentences which you feel should be changed, or you may want to change the order of certain thought. So this comes in revision. So whenever you are revising it, you should be taking care of this fact. So for example, whenever you are revising your essay, take out all unnecessary details or sentences. If you feel so that some sentence is repeated or some details are unnecessary, you should revise them and you should delete them. If you want to change the order of sentences, that is all up to you. We'll be talking about the order of sentences shortly after some time. And if you want to add certain good words of vocabulary, now this is the time for you to add them. So you can change them. All of this is going to be done in your final draft, not the complete essay which is once done. So this is to be added to the final draft of your essay. So the final stage is editing. So when you have revised your writing, try to check the grammar, capitalization, punctuation and spelling errors. If you're writing it online, sometimes Microsoft Word helps you in this. But if you're writing it offline, manually with your hand, then you should take an expert opinion. And if you're sitting in examination, you should pay proper concentration in your double checking of the paragraph or essay, that what mistakes are committed, so you can now avoid those mistakes and correct your essay. Now this is the second part of our video lecture, which is talking about the organization of essay. An essay is some paragraph with topic sentence and supporting sentences and a concluding sentence too. The topic sentence introduces the topic and tells what the writer will say about this topic in a single paragraph. The sentences that follow further explain and support the topic sentence. They are called supporting sentences. The concluding sentence often repeats the information in the topic and in quite a different way. In essay writing, we are more concerned about topic sentence and the supporting sentences. So in the topic sentences, the topic sentence basically replaces the heading. So we made 6 outlines in the outline we discussed before. It means that we are having 6 paragraphs. So those 6 paragraphs will begin with a topic sentence that will work like a heading so that the reader knows that what we are going to talk about in one paragraph of the whole essay. Similarly, all the paragraphs will be represented through the topic sentences. The topic sentence. So the topic sentence is usually the first or second sentence in a paragraph. Normally, it is the first sentence which is used as a heading. It introduces a new idea. So you come with new idea in the topic sentence. For example, if we are having an essay that is having 5 to 6 paragraphs, so each paragraph will be stating certain new thought or new idea about the same topic. For example, we can talk about terrorism, we can talk about the evolution of terrorism, we can talk about the terrorism and its types, we can talk about the horrors of terrorism. So this is all about terrorism. So each paragraph will be starting with certain new thought that will be in shape of a topic sentence. And the topic sentence presents the topic. Like, it does not deviate from the topic itself. It is very much linked to the topic. The thought is very much the same. Certain differences are there. For example, first you were talking about the horrors of terrorism. In next paragraph, you were talking about how to curb terrorism. So the topic is same. There are certain variations in how to deal about the topic. It explains what the writer will write about the topic and like what he will state about the topic, like what he feels about the topic in a way. This explanation is called the controlling idea, that the writer is initiating his own explanation, his own feeling about something. For example, if we are reading a paragraph on visiting a hilly area, so I may not be liking the hilly areas. And if I am writing something about it, it depends upon my thought, that what kind of thoughts I am throwing in the paragraph. So it is all about the writer, what kind of thoughts he has about the topic, and these thoughts are called the controlling ideas that the writer is using. Now, this is the example of a topic sentence, or certain topic sentences. So topic is primarily my friend, and there is some controlling idea attached. So the main figure is the person, the friend about whom we are writing, and then there is some controlling idea that is attached with the topic. For example, my friend who is an honest person, my friend who is the funniest person I know, and my friend has a terribly dangerous job. So these are the topic sentences in which the main topic is my friend and the controlling ideas are written in front of that, like an honest person, the funniest person who does terribly dangerous jobs. So these are the controlling ideas. For example, hilly areas is a topic, and the controlling ideas is like hilly areas are dangerous. Hilly areas and the landsliding in them, hilly areas and the cold in those areas. So these are the controlling ideas that we can use along with the topic sentences. So if we are writing about the topic and the topic is my friend, then we need to be dividing the paragraph into certain different sentences, and those sentences would be having some controlling ideas. So that's how we work on the topic sentence, and that controls the thought of the whole paragraph. Supporting sentences, they add information about the topic and the controlling idea. And supporting sentences can include definitions, explanations, examples. Now, this is the thing I was talking about, that we are practically working on writing an essay. So this is what we call coherence. So each idea of essay should be connected with the next idea. For example, this was our first paragraph in which we were talking about terrorism and its evolution. So I am reading out this paragraph in front of you, and you will see what is different in this. Terrorism is a buzzword, but its evolution dates back to the first murder in history. This was the murder of Abel by Cain. Both of them were the sons of the Holy Prophet Adam, peace be upon him. Abel followed the commandments and wishes of his father, whereas Cain was sometimes protesting. He protested on the issue of marriage as well. To solve this dispute, Hazrat Adam, peace be upon him, suggested them to sacrifice something, and acceptance of any of them will prove Allah's will. Abel presented a goat and Cain offered the corn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted Abel's sacrifice and rejected Cain's offerings. Not accepting the decision of Allah, he killed his own brother, Abel. This was the first killing on earth, which led to the beginning of terrorism. After that, it has destroyed the peace of the world on a massive scale. Pakistan too has suffered a lot because of its horrors. Now, let's analyze this written work, written material, sentence by sentence. So if you look at the first sentence, which is terrorism is a buzzword, but its evolution dates back to the first murder in history. So look how I am linking one sentence with another. That I mentioned the first murder, and the next line is complementing the first line. This was the murder of Abel by Cain. So now I need to mention who they were. So both of them were the sons of Holy Prophet Adam, peace be upon him. And then why something about Adam and why this happened. Abel followed the commands and wishes of his father, and Abel was sometimes protesting. So I linked protest to the next line. He protested on the issue of marriage as well, and since it was a dispute, so linked with the next line, to solve this dispute, Hazrat Adam, peace be upon him, suggested them to sacrifice something, and acceptance of any of them will prove Allah's will. And since we were talking about sacrificing something, so Abel presented a goat and Cain offered corn. And then it is about up to Allah to accept one. So Allah accepted Abel's sacrifice and rejected Cain's offering. So this was Allah's decision. So that is connected to the next line, that not accepting the decision of Allah, he killed his own brother Abel. So again, this killing is related to the next line. This was the first killing on earth which led to the beginning of terrorism. After this, it has destroyed the peace of the world on a massive scale. So this is what happened afterwards. And then I mentioned Pakistan too has suffered a lot because of its horrors. So why I mentioned Pakistan, I'll tell later. First of all, whenever we are creating or writing an essay, that should be written with some creative introduction. That should be having some catching introduction, because the examiner, he will have to go through so many essays. So the beginning of your essay should be so persuasive or should be so catching that he should read it word by word. So as I was saying, I mentioned Pakistan too has suffered a lot because of its horrors. So why did I mention it? because I needed to create connecting hooks. So connecting hooks are created between or among the paragraphs of an essay. We connect both of them so that the thoughts remain connected. The way I connected the thought of one line to another, in the same way we connect the thought of one paragraph to the other. So since this was our outline, we have already discussed the first one, and look at the second heading. So Pakistan and terrorism. So this is the reason I mentioned Pakistan in the end of the first paragraph. Our last line of the paragraph was, Pakistan too has suffered a lot because of its horrors. And the next heading was Pakistan and terrorism. So the first paragraph is automatically linked with the coming paragraph, which is about the same thing. In the same way, the last line with the next heading is to be connected. The heading of the last line should complement the beginning of the next outline. Now, for example, the second paragraph ends at, Pakistan too has suffered a lot because of its horrors. The first paragraph's last line. So it is connected to the second heading, Pakistan and terrorism. Again, recalling the outline. So the next, we are talking about the types of terrorism in Pakistan. So this is our third paragraph. So the second paragraph should end with such a line that should complement with the next heading, which is types of terrorism in Pakistan. So there is not only one way in which Pakistan has suffered the horrors of terrorism, rather there are many types in which it exists in our country. So this may be the last line of the second paragraph, and that is complementing the first line or the topic sentence of the next heading or next paragraph. And if the fourth paragraph is about the bad effects it produces on society, then the third paragraph should end in this way, in its any shape. Like there are so many types, we were talking about types of terrorism in the third one. So if in its any shape, it has given several jolts to the country, whatever its kinds are, it has always destroyed the country in many ways. So the next heading then will be the bad effects it produces on the society. And then it should end with, the bad effects should end with, indeed it is horrible evil, but there's always hope, solution and cure for everything. And next is the ways to curb terrorism. I hope you are understanding what I mean to say. So this is complementing the next heading. And in this way, we are connecting one thought with another, one paragraph with another. So the ending line of each paragraph should complement the topic sentence of the next paragraph. And each line of the sentence should complement with the next line of the same paragraph. So this is coherence. If we are writing with this thing in our mind, we are able to produce better paragraph. And remember, every person is writing the paragraphs. It depends upon you, how better or different you are in your writing. Following these steps of creating coherence and connecting hooks will not work in one day. So for this purpose, you need to practice, and you need to practice a lot. In that way, you will be able to write a paragraph in which all the sentences will be connected, and an essay in which all the paragraphs are also connected. So I hope you understood it. Thank you very much. We'll keep coming with more informational video. Stay tuned.